Hi, I'm on the road again, spending over a week driving across the Wild West and beautiful Canada. It's the perfect trip to evaluate some apps to help you explore the great outdoors on Steve's Tech Talk. Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk. First stop is Glacier National Park. I'll tell you, for us Flatlanders, it's a whole different world out here. Before I dive into the technology, a bit of a disclaimer. I don't care how much online research you do or how much pre-planning, nothing can beat spending a little time here at the Visitor Center with one of the park rangers.
But you'll have beautiful views.
Perfect.
And just go slowly. And
Tell them your skill level, and they can recommend the perfect trail or activity. One thing we learned from the rangers is that bears are a big deal out here. As a matter of fact, they recommend don't go out on the trail without this: bear spray. Planning your trip is a little like one of those maps you see on the news. You want to start with a wide overview and then zoom in on the park you're going to visit. Where in the state is the park located? What's around it? Then zoom in. What's located in the park? Consider the things you might do during your visit. Finally, zoom in on the actual lakes and rivers and trails. For the big picture, it's hard to beat Google Earth. It actually lets you fly into what it calls the street view, but you won't find many streets around here. People may joke about government service, but the national parks have really created some wonderful websites for each of the national parks. So when you get to the park and you're standing out in the beautiful wilderness, there's one problem. You're probably not going to be getting any cell service. That's when you want an app that doesn't depend on being plugged into the network. My absolute favorite is a free one from REI, the sporting goods company. It's simply called National Parks, and it's available on both Apple and Android. Start by picking a park. You're first presented with an overview that provides a ton of information about the park, its history, and the amenities. If you're looking for hikes, you can find them clearly labeled by difficulty. There's also quite a bit of information about what you'll see along the trail, its elevation, all kinds of tidbits. Click on the map for a view of the trail. From the satellite view, you can't get a feel for the height of the mountains, but switch to the terrain view and you get this amazing perspective. My next choices are free. They're from a company called Shimani. They have different apps for each of the national parks. Their maps give a different view and the amenities are presented differently. Both those apps work great if you're in the US, but they don't work very well if you're here in Canada. For that, I recommend an app called Parks Canada. Unfortunately, it doesn't provide a lot of detail unless you're online. Another app I like for exploring off the beaten trail is called Maplets. Costs $2.99, but it's well worth the investment. It allows you to download maps that you can mark up. I wish you could attach pictures, but the maps are great for biking, hiking, or any off-road activity. Finally, my last suggestion isn't an app. It's a tool. It's a battery or a power supply. The last thing you want to do is get out in the middle of the park and run out of juice.